What is up, guys? Welcome back to Cozy Talks. Today's our Tuesday episode. We're going to go over UFC 323. This card's taking place at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. It's going to be another Vegas card, going to be a banger. It's the last pay-per-view of the year, also the last pay-per-view of ESPN contract. So it's a big deal because starting in January, they're going to be going to the Paramount only. And I think they're getting rid of the pay-per-view gate. I'm not sure because they got pay-per-views back to back. But I'm excited, Z. How you feeling?
Oh yeah, excited for that 100%. Excited for Paramount. Excited for the last pay-per-view of the year. Hope you guys will be watching. And if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know how you're feeling about this.
Yeah. Let's run this up, guys. It's the last big card of the year. There's one more card on the 13th that we will get a video out for because it is the last video of the year, and then we get a 6-week layoff. During that time, though, I think Z and I are gonna try and get some more content out to you guys, whether it is UFC or whether it's maybe we dabble into some football or dabble into some gambling content. But we're not gonna leave you guys hanging for 6 weeks. We're gonna try and keep the account active. So that way you guys got something to watch and entertainment. But as far as this card goes, let's get into it, yeah?
Yeah, it's a pretty stat card.
Yeah, open up the prelims. We get Muhammad Naimov versus Myron Santos. This is a featherweight bout. If you notice the weight discrepancy, Myron's last fight took place at lightweight. It was against Sidi Yusuf. But this time he's back down to his normal weight class. The Ultimate Fighter winner is taking on Naimov. Santos is my pick in this one. How you feeling about this one, Z?
I gotta go with Naimov. I feel like Naimov gets it done.
Oh,
Yeah.
off the rip, we're already disagreeing. I just like the younger guy. I just think he has a lot more upside on the striking. I think his grappling is really high level. Naimov has some good kicks. He's really fast on the feet with his kicks. But he's we've seen him get choked out on the ground. Granted, it was against Felipe Lima, and it was like a late. I'm pretty sure it was a late third round if I remember right. But either way, I think if Myron can get some wrestling and be active, I think this could be a grinded out kind of fight. I don't really know if we will see a stoppage in this one. I'm kind of feeling a scorecard fight here, but I still think it's going to be a really high output, really fun fight to watch, especially for it being the opener. But you're taking a dog shot, man. All right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Santos, he's a young guy and he's a dog. He's pretty good. He's pretty good striking, and he's good on the ground. But I got Naimov. I think Naimov is gonna be better at the wrestling. And I think he's gonna kind of make it that wrestling fight. He's gonna take it to the ground. But one thing I do see happening here, though, is Santos being the dog and just looking for a finish. Come in the later rounds. Come in the later round 3.
Yeah, it could be, dude. Yeah, I think if either of you guys were to get a finish, it'd have to be by like a submission or some some flashy knockout. I don't really see it happening. But we'll touch on the props on Friday, so that way you guys can get a little more interested in these prelim fights. It is a stacked card nonetheless, so I mean, there's money to be made anywhere. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. But moving on to the next fight on the prelims, we get the undefeated Mansour Abdul-Malik versus Antonio Trocoli, Mackenzie Dern's ex. I'm not sure they're together anymore, right? I'm pretty sure not. I'm pretty sure they're not. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we get Mansour Abdul-Malik off of a weird win over Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage, he's had the weirdest UFC career. I'm not even sure if he's still in the UFC, to be honest with you. If he is, that's kind of a surprise because his last 4 fights, he's like 1-1-1-1. He gets an Antonio Trocoli, who I definitely see getting knocked out here. I think Mansour Abdul-Malik is going to find the finish here. We've seen Antonio Trocoli lose his last 2. I'm pretty sure they're both by finish. Tresean Gore, last time out, Tresean Gore. You know, he's a bit of a younger guy as far as UFC career goes, and then loses to Shar Magomedov, who at the time was on a great run up in the middleweight division. So, you know, one loss you look at and you're like, yeah, it should happen because it's Shara. The other one you look at it's Shara, it's Tresean, and you're like, yeah, you know, it's not the greatest loss because now we see Tresean Gore going out and losing to, you know, some of the other guys. What he lost to Rodolfo Vieira last time out. And Rodolfo Vieira just got smoked, head kicked off by Bo Nickel. Mansour Abdul-Malik though, he you know, he's violent. I mean, his record speaks for itself. Like this guy's been getting a bunch of finishes, 7 finishes, 1 sub. The guy's never been to the scorecard. Yeah, I think this one's kind of writing itself here. Mansour Malik, I think, should get the finish here. Probably looking at a round 1 prop here when Friday rolls around.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of sad to see this fight this low on the card because I mean,
I,
even though these aren't like big names, Mansour Abdur Malik, you know, for those who know, Buddy is a killer. You know, but you know, you try to sell that name on like a piece of paper. It won't attract people. But
yeah,
anyways, I do feel like that's kind of like a main card opener. I feel like this is kind of a main card opener
yeah.
type of fight because you got a dude like Malik, who is a fucking murderer, and
Mm,
Trocoli, you know, he's on that two losing streak right now,
mm.
both by finishes. I'm pretty sure these dudes were supposed to fight as well
Yeah, it was.
back in Seattle.
Oh, whoa! That what I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
Wow, I totally
they were
forgot about
supposed to
that.
fight back in Seattle, and Trocoli looks like he was the guy who pulled out. Malik got Nick Klein, bitch Nick Klein in round 2.
That's
I
right.
think I think in this fight Malik can get it done inside the distance.
Yeah.
I think I think he'll be able to knock him out.
Granted, as far as you know where it is on this prelim card, it's definitely not because of Mansour Malik. It's because of Trocoli. You know, you can't really sell a fight that great when you know you're on a 2-fight losing streak and you still haven't really done shit as far as your UFC career goes. You know that's how you are right now. You're 0-2, and yeah, you know your first time out against Mansour Malik was back in February, and you canceled, and now we're in December, and this is now your first fight since.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy. It's just super inactive. So I mean that's the only reason I think it's down here. It sucks for Mansour Malik, but you know if he gets his finish, we'll for sure be seeing him in a featured prelim, if not on the main card on his next time out. That's what I think at least. But yeah, it should be Mansour Malik in this one. Moving on, we get kind of an interesting fight here. We get Ivo Aslan versus Ivo Baraniewski. I'm gonna butcher the fuck out of that one.
Mm.
Uh but I'm just gonna say Ivo versus Ivo. It might be Evo. Isn't he Polish? Yeah, Evo maybe. Anyway,
Shit, we don't know.
yeah. We just know this, bro. Uh My pick in this one's probably Evo, not Os, not. I'm gonna say Aslan and Evo, just because they sound super similar. I think Evo gets this one. I think,
Or Rudy. Call him Rudy. His nickname's
yeah, we'll
Rudy.
call him Rudy. Sorry guys, this is when we're kind of working out the kinks here. But yeah, no, yeah, I think Rudy gets this done. I think Rudy definitely gets a finish. He has super high level judo. He was on Dana White's Contender Series, smoked Buddy on the Contender Series, and now he comes and makes his UFC debut against Ivo Aslan, who looked like dog shit in his last fight. After you know, there was talk of him going to the Dagestan Mountains and working on his wrestling after losing in Seattle to who was it? Yeah, to losing to Iwan.
With the lava.
Yeah, losing to Kudalava, goes and loses to Billy Elikana, which Elikana isn't terrible per se, but that fight was just like everything that you just want to forget about. It had nothing good going in it. These guys looked like they were sparring, looked like they were just buddies having a fucking jolly good time for 3 rounds. And after this one went to the scorecards, went unanimous for Billy. Ebo was surprised that he didn't win, and it's like, I mean, the output was low. There was just nothing going for really either of these guys. But I mean, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it because I'm not too heavily vested into Ebo. But I do like Rudy here. I think Rudy really brings a lot to the table here. He is kind of a decent favorite. He's a little bit of the younger guy, but he's got the shorter reach, smaller guy. But like I said, his judo is really high level, really elite. I think he could really find the finish here, but probably by KO. I would say. I don't know what Ebo's grappling looks like nowadays. After his Dagestan trip, but I'm sure he's not going to want to try and get close to Rudy here. I think this one's going to stay at range, and we'll see Rudy pick him apart.
Yeah, my pick here is Rudy as well. I'm gonna be completely honest. Ebo has done nothing to impress me, especially with the 14 knockouts that he has under his belt.
He's knocking out
His
cans.
his 3 wins in the UFC are against cans, and he faces dudes who can fight, and he loses to them.
Yeah.
Um, Rudy though is on a 6-fight win streak, and they're all coming by finish.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of his wins, they can be questionable due to his opponent's records. But I mean, look at Aslan. Um, I think Rudy though is going to be better. I think he's going to be better all around, and I think he'll be able to finish Aslan.
Yeah.
If not, unfortunately, we might see another decision
Yeah.
in another big boy fight. But either way, my money's going to be on Rudy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad he's not priced through the roof. I'm glad he's sitting at 2-1 odds. That's kind of where I would love to pick him up at. Moving on though, we get an interesting fight, a weird one. We get Edson Barboza versus the returning unretired Jalen Turner. Uh, as far as a pick in this one, I'm still pretty heavily undecided because you get an Edson Barboza who last time out he fought Drakkar Close in what was a really close fight. No pun intended. It was a pretty good fight. I remember we watched that one. Um, and then Jalen Turner last time out, he gets strangled choked by Bahamondes and calls it quits. He definitely just quit out of frustration. I mean, he's super young. He's 30 years old, and obviously, after UFC 300, his wannabe walk off KO against Moicano didn't go as planned, and his UFC career definitely took a spiral after that. Um, and I think maybe he's coming back and he's gonna have the Jimmy Crew kind of run. Maybe he's rejuvenated. Maybe he's found himself again. But this isn't like an easy fight for him. Edson Barbosa has only lost like 11 times in like what was it, the last like 10 years or some shit. Like he's not like no slouch. He's a very high level kickboxer. He's a legend of the sport. He is older, granted. Yeah, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. One of them being to Drakkar Close, the other being to the undefeated Lerone Murphy. Um, it's he's kind of getting kind of fed now. He's kind of, it feels like he's getting kind of these shit matchups because he's the older guy and he's got the younger guys coming for his spot in the rankings. You know, it's kind of funny they say Jalen Turner's unranked because just because he retired, I think they have like a clause where they actually are still on the roster or some shit for like X amount of years. So it's kind of funny they just totally got rid of his ranking spot. But yeah, no, Jalen Turner. I think Jalen Turner does get this one done, but I'm just not really sure. I see a finish. I think Edson Barbosa can definitely grind this out and make this a dog fight. This might be another decision fight, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's yeah. Unfortunately, you kind of have to look at fights that way, and that's the reality of a
Hmm.
lot of fights. But I like Jalen Turner finish here. I like Jalen Turner going in there, like you were
I would
talking
love to see
about,
him get a
coming back.
finish.
Yeah, coming back rejuvenated. Kind of going on a Jimmy Crute type of run. I
Mm.
think he could come in there and get the finish. I really liked Jalen Turner. Watching a lot of his fights. That fight with Dan Hooker, that shit was insane. That
Yeah,
was that was an absolutely insane fight. I remember when he fought Euros Medic. That was a pretty good fight. Um, the King Green fight, that shit was
that was
insane. I was
CTE.
screaming. I was screaming at my TV to stop the fight. But it's like you do that, and then you go and you try to get some flash knockout on Morcano, and he's on the ground, and Herb Dean's just standing there.
Yeah,
Buddy, you gotta go in there until fucking someone pulls you off.
yeah.
I mean, you just did that against Bobby Green. But anyways, I agree with you, Barboza, he's no slouch. But Jalen Turner, I'm hoping he comes back, with a little bit of something on his shoulder,
Mm,
trying to get back in there because he's very skilled. He's
mm,
a big, tall guy. He's very lengthy,
yeah,
and he has some crazy striking. Um, I think Jalen Turner could finish Barbosa. I think
yeah,
he can get it done inside the distance.
yeah. I think it'd have to be for sure by uh by knockout.
Yeah,
Barboza
100%.
is pretty nasty in the clinch. Um, but yeah, I think if it stays the range, Jalen Turner being the long fighter he is, he's tall, he's long, gonna be a dog.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's move on to the next one. We got Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira in the prelim. Kind of a crazy spot for Marvin Vettori to be after fighting for the belt. What was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? How long ago was that, dude? I feel like time's flying by. It was 3 years ago, wasn't it? Holy shit. 2021? It was 4 years ago. Wow, dude. Time is flying by. Yeah, Marvin Vettori is kind of on the crazy trajectory of down in his career. And it's kind of sad to see if I'm being honest, because I thought he was a pretty not entertaining fighter, but I thought he was a pretty skilled fighter, and I thought he was definitely high caliber enough to keep his spot in the top 15. But it's the young man's game, and yeah, he's on a 3-fight losing streak, losing his what do you want to call it, grudge match with Brendan Allen, losing to Roman Dolidze, and losing to Jared Cannonier. Granted, these are all good losses. These are all guys that are top 15, if not top 10. Brendan Allen just beat Raymond Ritter last time out. Great loss here. Roman Dolidze lost. He got smoked by Fluffy. Fluffy, is arguably a title contender. Lost to Jared Cannonier. Just beat RoboCop last time out. Jared Cannonier is the old man that is giving all these young bucks a run for their money. And then you get Bruno Ferreira. He is definitely a submission ace. He's kind of a problem. He fought Abus. He fought Armin Petrosian, who we saw get spinning back fisted twice by Shar Bullet, and then he fights Jackson McVeigh, which Jackson McVeigh, we saw him fight. What, it was like about a month ago. I don't even remember who he fought
Yeah,
against, but it was,
and he lost.
yeah. He you thought he was you had money on him to win, but
Yeah, he got bitched.
yeah. Um, this is a pretty weird fight because Mario Vittori is not bad, and Bruno Ferreira is kind of fighting some of the lower opposition. If I'm being honest with you, I think if there's any time for Marvin Vittori to turn it around, it's now. And I think if he doesn't, then who knows where he ends up. If he wants to stay in the UFC, or if he goes and makes a PFL run. Um, I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I think he wants to go out and get the win here, and I'm really hoping he does. So I'm picking Marvin Vittori by decision. I think it's going to be a decision fight again. I think he's going to get it done though.
For sure. I'm gonna go with Bruno Ferreira. I got the Hulk. I got the Hulk winning this.
Oak.
I honestly think, I think Vettori, he just passed his prime. He's on a 3 fight losing streak right now. And yeah,
He's
yeah, I get it.
young, bro.
He's 32. Yeah, he's young, but like he's past his prime in his career.
He does have a lot of
I
fights
feel
for
like.
being only 32. I feel like he has a lot of fights. I mean, it's 28 fights.
Yeah, but like
But going into his
I don't
29. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I was saying, he's right now he's on a 3 fight losing streak.
Mm,
He's been in the UFC since 2016. He's fought dudes like Costa, Holland, Whitaker, and Izzy for the belt.
right.
And yeah, he's been fighting like top 10, top 15 contenders, most of his career.
Yeah.
But I just think this type of fight like it kind of depicts for Vettori like are you gonna be like a gatekeeper, or is Ferreira gonna come in here and push you to the side?
Yeah.
Ferreira's gonna make a push for the rankings.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think Bruno I think this fight is gonna depend on where Bruno wants to take it. Honestly. If Bruno can keep up with the gas tank of Vettori
It is a
and he
3-rounder.
doesn't I know it is a 3 rounder, but Vettori has like I don't see Ferreira getting a finish unless it's like maybe a submission. I don't see Vettori getting knocked out here.
Yeah. Yeah, Vettori has some pretty good takedown defense, but Marvin Vettori just has like very low output is kind of been his problem as of late. He
Yeah,
kind of just likes to pepper the jab, and he'll try and duck and roll off of your straight that you throw at him, and he's just like he's just not being very high volume, and that's been his problem as of late. Is he's just getting outstriked. He's not putting enough output out there, and he's just he's getting battered up.
at the end of it though, I do see Vettori possibly beating Ferreira if Ferreira gets gassed out here.
Yeah, that's
Because I've seen Ferreira get a little gassed in some of his fights before.
yeah. The one he just lost a boost over a year ago was one where he gassed out super hard, went hard in the
Hmm.
first, and then it goes in the later rounds, and he just gets fucking smoked.
Yeah, so hopefully he kind of chills out on that pace, doesn't headhunt for the first round finish.
Hmm.
Especially against a dude like Vittori, hella losses underneath his belt, or coming off that 3 loss.
Yeah, yeah,
But honestly, I see this fight as in, Ferreira kind of stepping in and taking over, and Vittori, I don't know, kind of just fading away if he loses this fight.
yeah.
The Italian dream.
Moving on to the next one. Uh this is a good fight here. We get Fars Ziam, who was supposed to fight in Paris, could not make it because of the death of a family member, so he withdrew, and now he gets Nazim Sadykhov, who is, in my opinion, one of the dark horses of the lightweight division. I think he is going to be a problem. We saw him have what could have been fight of the year against Moda
Hmm.
last time out. It was a great fucking war between those two, and Sadykhov found the finish. Uh, but he gets a Ziam, who, like I said, is looking to avenge a dead family member. He took the time off in Paris, comes back, and this is his first fight since. Who knows what we're gonna get? Are we gonna see a guy who lets his emotions get the best of him, and he comes out and just looks reckless? Or are we gonna get the guy who's just a stone cold killer? Who knows? He is the favorite in this one. It is kind of interesting. Sadykhov, he trains in Brooklyn, trains with guys like Aljo. Um, this feels like it could be a really fun fight. Um, both guys are on a good streak right now. And this is a tough one to pick. Like I said, I just got done saying that Sadykhov's the dark horse. I like Sadykhov to get the win here. Not sure if he gets it done inside the distance. Could be by decision. I think he might try to wrestle a lot here. Um, but I could also see him, keeping it standing and just trying to outstrike Ziam, which I think is gonna play into Ziam's wheelhouse because Ziam's a long rangy fighter. I don't know. How do you feel about this one, Z?
I got Sadykhov. I like the side of Sadykhov here, and I like the fact that he is plus money right now.
Yeah,
He is on the underdog side of this fight.
it kind of makes me
Um,
wonder why. I think it might just be the hype on Ziam.
yeah, yeah. I mean
I mean,
that knee on Matt Frivola was pretty nasty. Um,
yeah.
it's just I see Sadykhov breaking through Ziam, breaking through his long technical striking.
Yeah,
I mean, Sadykhov could take a punch too. He took that beating from Moda, and then ended up coming back and winning the fight.
yeah.
Um, I like I said, I think Ziam, or Nazim, not Ziam,
Hmm.
Sadykhov. I think Sadykhov can break through, and I think he can land something big on Ziam.
Yeah, if we want to play
So yeah,
MMA
my
math,
pick.
we love to play MMA math, don't we, Z?
Oh yeah,
Both these guys fought Terrence McKinney, and that is fair as Ziam's last loss is Terrence McKinney. And Sadykhov, where's it at? Smoked in by Seb. You know, like I said, I think the wrestling game is gonna be wide open for Sadykhov, a guy that trains with Aljo, a guy who is a very high level MMA wrestler. Um, if he looks to implement that kind of game plan here, this could be another submission loss on Ziam's record. Um, I think he could pull it off. I think this one could be inside the distance for sure. On the side of Sadykhov.
100%.
Moving on to the next fight on the card, we get Macy Barber versus Karini Silva. This feels like a fun kind of women's fight. We haven't seen Macy Barber in a hot minute because she was supposed to fight Erin Blanchfield on that main event that Macy Barber pulled out, had to go to the hospital because I think it was her weight cut or something like that was too severe, and she just didn't feel great, so she pulled out.
Yeah.
And now you get the Karini Silva, who is kind of, she's on a one win streak, but she was surging up before that loss to Araujo. Araujo's not terrible, wasn't a terrible loss in my opinion, but then she comes out and finishes, not finishes, but gets the win over Dione Barboza. I had Barboza in that one. We talked about that one on the show. Yeah, Karini Silva totally proved us wrong. She looked like a dominant grappler, dominant wrestler, and that's kind of where I thought Barboza was gonna, take a lot of the points on the card and get the decision on her side. But Karini Silva just she took it onto herself. Um, but this feels like a little too big of a step up in competition for Karini Silva. I think Macy Barber is a dog. She's a very high level striker. I think she has fast hands for this division. She's a bit of a problem. I think if she would have fought Erin Blanchfield would have smoked her. Of course, I think Erin Blanchfield is a future champ in years to come. She's still super young, but for these two girls, I think Macy Barber can get the win here. Probably on the scorecards, but I will say there is the chance that Macy Barber could pull off some crazy KO finish. Will it happen? Probably not. But I do like Macy Barber's hands. I think she has some really good hands.
Yeah, I like the side of Macy Barber here. Um, I agree with what you were saying. I feel like this fight is kind of like the same thing
Look at
with
her dog.
Blanchfield versus. Yeah, she is huge.
Goddamn.
She is pretty huge. But I mean, I feel like this is the same thing with Blanchfield versus Cortez.
Yeah.
Barber's a dog. She's a dog on the feet and she's a dog on the ground.
Mhm.
Um, Crean on the other hand, she is a pretty good grappler.
27? I didn't realize she was still so damn young, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, see that's another thing is, Barber, she's young. She's young and she is
Damn.
a she is a dog when she fights, dude. She is such a dog. she doesn't care about getting in there and getting bloody or getting hit.
Oh yeah, no, she
You know,
she's a dog.
she's in there. And, like I was saying, Korean on the other hand, she's a really good grappler. Right now she's also with the Fighting Nerds.
Mm.
Um I just think though Barber, I think she's gonna be the stronger fighter. I think she's gonna be the stronger fighter here, and I think Barber's most definitely live for a possible finish inside the distance.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Macy Barber to get this one done and get back in the right direction. Even though she is on a fat win streak, her falling out of that Blanchfield fight is,
Yeah,
it's not the direction you want to go. So hopefully, she gets to turn the ship around after this one. Moving
100%.
on to the next fight, we get another prelim banger. This could
Oh,
be,
speak of the devil.
yeah, this could be a banger. Who knows? We get Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. We get Mr. Round One versus Mr. Duncan. Terrence McKinney, he has I think he's has the lightweight record for fastest knockout, like 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And he gets Chris Duncan, who has looked like a savage. Every time I want to pick against this guy, he totally just proves me wrong. He had that win over Vucenic, who came over from Bellator, I think, right? And he choked him, which was a shocker because Vucenic had like a bunch of submission wins on his record. Where like if this goes to the ground, it's got to be Vucenic all day. And then he gets that win over Rebetski, which Rebetski kind of low key is fading a little bit in my opinion. I feel like he's kind of he started really hot, and I think people are starting to kind of figure him out a bit. But Terrence McKinney, he's been we joke and call him McChinney because it's either he's either getting these finishes or he's getting finished. It's kind of how his career's played out here in the UFC. But he is a dog. When he's in these fights, he's not seeing the scorecards at all. He's finishing guys that you don't really expect him to finish, and he's getting finished by guys that you think he should beat, right? Rebet, not really. I think Rebet definitely was the guy to win that fight. Rebet kind of is on a bit of a good career path right now. But as far as this fight goes, I like the side of Duncan. I'm definitely on Duncan in this one. I think Duncan has, like I said, he has great grappling. We covered his submission win, but he also has some good hands. He's a Scottish fighter. He's our modern day Paul Craig. I like Chris Duncan. He's got a good mic. So he's definitely marketable. He's an entertaining fighter. So is Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney likes to do his own breakdowns on TikTok, and he likes to also pick fights, kind of like what we do. But I don't think he gambles on fights. I don't know if they're allowed to. But regardless, my pick's Chris Duncan here. I think Chris Duncan definitely gets this done inside the distance. I think either of these guys, it's round one or bust.
Yeah, I hate to say it, because Terrence McKinney, he's a Washington boy. He's local. He's fighting out of Spokane, Washington. I'm pretty sure,
Mm-hmm.
or somewhere over there out
Oh,
east.
he's not even
But
representing him. Boo.
I'm sure they'll say it come fight night.
Let's see. It's probably in his bio. What? He probably lived over here or something. But no, I remember them talking about him being like a Spokane fighter.
Yeah, I got Chris Duncan, man. I got Chris Duncan. I think Chris Duncan could get it done.
How do you think he gets it done? Sub? KO? Decision? I think he gets it done by KO.
I think he might knock him out. I think Terrence McKinney might, go for another fast flash knockout the way he did against Slava Claus.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Duncan's just gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" and just land some nasty ground and pound.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do see that happening. I see Terrence McKinney trying to lock something up on Duncan, and Duncan's just like, "Nah, dude." Fucking gets up in fucking full mount and just lands some nasty ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I hate to say it because I'm going against a hometown guy, but yeah, I got Chris Duncan inside the distance.
Yeah. Next fight is our featured prelim of this UFC 323 card. We got Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Kind of a strange fight, if I'm being honest with you, because Grant Dawson has proven to be uh, he's kind of an odd fighter to me. He's got high level jujitsu, but outside of that, he's kind of looking like the lay and pray guy. He grapevines your legs on the side of the cage, and he'll just sit there and kind of hold you down and just rack up control time. And then you get the other guy who's just the polar opposite, the guy who goes in there and he had what, like a 9 fight win streak by round one or some shit like that. It was something insane. This guy's a lunatic, and he lost to Bob Mondes, which was a great fight. I remember watching that. Bob Mondes went on a bit of a run before he ran into Fiziev. I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, Grant Dawson's last loss was to none other than King Green. Uh, it was kind of a weird fluky one though, because I mean, it was like what 20 seconds into the round, he throws one punch and fucking Grant Dawson eats the mat.
Yeah.
But now he's on a 3-fight win streak against Joe Solecki, who is a jiu-jitsu guy, Rafa Garcia, who fought Vince Pichel in Mexico City, and then Diego Ferreira, who is like 43 years old or some shit. He's an older fighter. Grant Dawson's kind of getting spoon fed to kind of boost the record a bit here, but I don't think he's getting the win here. I think Manuel Torres would come in there and do what Bobby Green did and just make him eat Matt. Yeah, Manuel Torres is nasty. My only caution is I don't know if it's legit or not. I saw pictures on Twitter of Manuel Torres and he looked like a chunky boy. I'm not sure if those were like real pictures or not. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. But regardless of if that's real or not, I think Manuel Torres he's just got that dog in him, bro. That Mexican savage. I think he gets this done inside the distance, 100% by KO.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got Manuel Torres winning this. Um, he most definitely got some power in his hands, and I think he could find Grant Dawson. Another thing as well is like Grant Dawson goes for some wrestling. Manuel Torres is gonna fucking pound your head in the way he did with Drew Dober.
Yeah,
He rocked Drew Dober. Drew Dober went in for a takedown, and Manuel Torres just went in hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist,
yeah,
hammer fist, hammer fist, elbow, 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 elbow. Called the fight.
yeah.
So yeah, Manuel Torres, he was on a 6-fight win streak before his loss
That's what it
against
was.
Bahamondes.
Yeah,
All in the first round. Um, and given his loss against Bahamondes was in the first round as well, and then goes on to beat Drew Dober in the first round as well. So I mean, this guy, he does not want to see the decision. He is always looking for a finish. And I think he could finish Grant Dawson. My pick here is going to be Manuel Torres. I'm pretty shocked that Grant Dawson is a minus 200 favorite here.
yeah. I don't like the odds here. I'm definitely taking the shot on the underdog, 100%. I mean, like I said, they kind of see it the way I would see it. If it wasn't a finish of Manuel Torres, it's gonna be the lay and pray style that Dawson likes to bring. He has the high level jujitsu, um, but he's just been kind of boring. If I'm being honest, I can't remember a time where I actually enjoyed watching a fight of his. You go into a decision with Ismagulov, losing to King Green by knockout, decision, ground and pound on Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia isn't that great of a fighter, and then you go to decision with Diego Ferreira. I mean, it's kind of a meh record, if I'm being honest with you. It's one of those inflated
He,
records. It feels like in the UFC.
another thing as well is like in my honest opinion, I see Manuel Torres touching the top 15 of the lightweight division. I don't see Grant Dawson touching the top 15 of the lightweight division.
No, no, not unless some of these guys start falling out and retiring, which we might see after the Gaethje Patty fight. Um,
100%.
but right now it's Manuel Torres time. He's going to come for that spot. He's coming for that top 15. He's going to be ready to go. Moving on to our main card opener. Oh boy. I'll let you cook, Z. You go first, big dog.
I got Bogdan Guskov on this fight, dude. I I really do. I think Guskov can get the win here. Jan, Jan is a fucking mountain,
Man.
bro. He is a mountain of a man. Do not get me wrong here. But he's also 42 and he is very inactive. I mean, yes, his last fight was against Carlos Oberg, but that's Carlos Oberg. Come on.
This
Come
is
on.
this is
That's
probably his
Oberg.
last fight. This is
Yeah, and exactly.
99% sure this is gonna be Jan's last fight.
Yeah, prior to fighting Oberg, he fought Pereira
Mm.
back in 2023.
And he
It
lost
is
a
almost,
controversial split.
yes, and it is almost 2026 now.
Yeah.
And his last fight was against a dude, Carlos Oberg, who is possibly going to be fighting for the title next year.
Mm.
Who knows? But anyways, I got Bogdan Guskov winning this fight. Buddy is a monster. I don't care if he's fighting a his last fight was against a fucking washed vet, Nikita Krylov.
He bitched him.
He bitched him. And I think Guskov is live for a finish, of course, but I think Guskov can get it done on the scorecards. I think Guskov is going to be a smarter fighter. Hopefully, I hope he doesn't try to come in here and gun against Jan,
Yeah.
because Jan's a vet, and I'm pretty. Isn't he? He's a former champ, is he? Did
Yeah.
Jan ever touch gold?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He had gold
he's
for
a
big
former. Yeah.
because Izzy tried to come up and fight him and Izzy lost.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean,
It
Guskov has to be smart here,
this is a big test for
but
sure.
yeah, even though it is a 3 rounder, Guskov can't headhunt. I mean, go ahead and try. Just be
Punching a
smart
brick,
about
bro.
it. You most definitely can. I don't see him getting a first round finish. That's another thing too. I will say is Guskov finishes Jan here, even in the first round or just even a finish. That's huge. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane for Guskov.
Yeah.
But I like Guskov. His past few fights most definitely has made me a fan of him.
Hmm.
But I got Guskov winning here. What
Yeah.
do you got, Joe?
Uh, I got, I got Guskov. We're getting two guys that are kind of on different trajectories. Jan is definitely on his way out. Obviously, he's 42, about to be 43 here in a few months. And Guskov's kind of playing street sweeper. He's clearing out some of these guys who haven't been active, who have been kind of just lurking around in the rankings. Krylov was an example right there. Um, you know, and now Guskov's coming up and he's coming for a spot in the top 10. And who better than Jan, who's on a 2-fight losing streak and had that split decision loss against Ankh. Uh, you know, I will say Guskov needs to mind his P's and Q's in this one. He needs to be conscious of the leg kicks. Jan has the meanest low kicks. And if he's able to get those off early in the first, this could be a problem and spell trouble later in the rounds. So Guskov needs to find a way to either check him or be first. Don't let Jan pick out your legs if you're gonna try and stand with him. But just know that Jan also has the wrestling in the back pocket. Jan does like to be heavy on the ground, and that could also be a problem here. But I think Guskov can do enough to stay off his back, and just be active. I think Guskov is life for a finish. I totally agree with you. He's got 15 knockouts on his record, and he's getting a guy who also has finishing ability. This is the guy that literally patented
Yeah.
Polish power. But yeah, it's a battle of two guys who are just on, one guy's on the up and one guy's on the down, and it just is what it is. Like I said, I'm very certain this is Jan's retirement fight. He was a former champ, and if we see more of him, we see more of him. But I'm not holding my breath about it. Like I said, he's been pretty inactive. He's had a few fights here and there in the last few years. Guskov's looking to be active, and he's looking to come for the old man's head. I like him here for sure. Moving on though to our next fight, which when this fight first got announced, it kind of drew a lot of question marks, and I definitely did what he's doing, to kind of because it's a weird one. It is a strange fight. There's a picture of these guys hanging out before. They went on like a hike. I don't know exactly where it was. I'm not sure how much training time they've had together. I'm sure there probably was a time or two where they have. But we get Triple C Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbott. This is like I said, it's just a weird one, man. You get Henry Cejudo, who retired, became like an internet sensation, a guy who talked a lot of shit and was very analytical. And then gets his shot back in the UFC, and he gets what? He gets nothing. He's 0-3. And he's been rather inactive. If I'm being honest with you, one fight a year is not going to cut it. Fought Aljo, and what was a split, but it was definitely for Aljo. If I had to say so, Aljo was just the bigger fighter at the time, and then he lost to Marab, who ended up being champ. You kind of see the fighters he's getting. He's getting the wrestlers because you're getting Henry Cejudo, who was a gold medalist wrestler, and they're trying to get him here on the score on the winning side, but he's outgunned here. He's just getting outworked. And his last time out in Seattle, this was a shitty main event. I remember we were there for it. It was kind of disappointing to watch, because he kind of just sat in the corner. You've probably seen memes of him doing that, sitting in the corner. Yeah, I don't know. On the other side, you get Peyton Talbott, who, he had his loss to Barcelos, and it was exactly the kind of style that Cejudo was going to bring. It was a heavy wrestling style. Peyton Talbott, he can wrestle, but when he gets counter wrestled and reversed, that's kind of his problems, because he had a hard time getting up to his feet, and he was just getting controlled. But yeah, I mean, Cejudo is going to bring the offense to him 100%. But Talbot is a very unorthodox striker. He definitely packs a lot of power. We've seen him KO Cameron Simon, and he also last time out beat Felipe Lima on the scorecards, which was a huge fight. That fight I was super stoked for, because that was just two prospects that was kind of tell us where each we're going to end up on that time of the trajectory. This is just a weird one. I'm a big fan of Peyton Talbott. It's kind of crazy seeing the odds this way, because Henry Cejudo, like we said, he was Triple C, bro. He literally had 3 titles at one point, or 2 titles and a gold medal. Yeah, I don't know. I like Peyton Talbott. I think this is the weird one. I think Cejudo is going to retire again after this one. He kind of came in and started on this ESPN deal, and now he's coming on the last card for the ESPN deal. So yeah, I think Talbot, it's kind of like the passing of the torch, in my opinion. I think that's why this fight's happening, because like I said, there was a picture of them together at one point back in the day. Maybe they're good buddies. Maybe, yeah, like I said, they just train together. But I think this is just the passing of the torch moment for Talbot.
Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna be completely honest here, dude. Why is this fight even happening?
Yeah.
Like, really though, Talbot is 1-2 in his last in his he's 4-1 in his last 5 in the UFC.
Mhm.
Loses to a vet in Barcelos. Talbot's not even fucking ranked, and he's getting a ranked Henry Cejudo here, who's, keep in mind, ranked top 10 in the
Mhm.
bantamweight division.
Yeah.
Why is Talbot getting this type of treatment? I I understand the hype. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I understand the hype against Talbot,
It is undeserved,
but
though. I agree.
it is a little undeserved. I mean, you lose to a vet, and now you're getting another vet who could possibly do the same exact shit to you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Talbot's last fight against Felipe Lima, which I agree with you. I was very excited for that fight as well. Talbot showed a lot of uh, improvements from his last fight with Barcelos. But again, he's getting a Henry Cejudo who is a very heavy wrestler. Very heavy wrestler. And this is possibly going to be his last fight. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna bet on this fight.
I think the over under could be a look. I think even spread points could be a
Well,
look.
I see this fight going to decision. I don't see this fight. I don't see this fight ending at all. Maybe a paying Talbot ground and pound.
Which would be
Honestly,
crazy. That'd be
yeah,
crazy.
that would be crazy. I see something like that happening. But in reality, if I want to be honest with you, I see this fight going to decision. And I see Peyton Talbot's hand getting raised. I think Talbot can get it done, but I don't see a finish possibly happening here. I feel like this fight might be a little snooze fest.
If there's a finish,
But
if Talbot gets the finish, let me just say that real quick. If Talbot gets the finish, do you fast track him? Do you give him, a top 5 after this? Do you give him
I mean,
do you give him like Mario Bautista after this? Do you give him like Umar?
Marab couldn't finish him.
Or do you give him
Aljo couldn't finish him.
or do you give him uh who else could you give him?
Give him top 5.
Give
Give
him
him
Sean
top
O'Malley,
5.
give him loser of Sean O'Malley and Sung Yadong.
Here, I just had the rankings right here.
I mean, there's a lot to think about with this one. It's just crazy that you're getting a
Give him
guy who's
Sandhagen.
ranked. Don't give him Sandhagen. No, but
Give him Zahabi.
I think Zahabi would be great. I think Zahabi would be great.
That would be a good fight.
Yeah, Zahabi talks too much shit, and he's got Canadian armor buff. As long as they don't fight in Canada, I think Peyton Talbot bitches him.
I feel like with the timing of this fight, with if Talbot were to win this, I see him fighting possibly Bautista, Vera,
Yeah,
or Zahabi. Because Umar, I'm pretty sure Umar's already fighting. Yeah, he's fighting Figueredo.
yeah, it's that.
So, but save that for when we talk about that.
But yeah, for as far as this one goes, I think we both got Talbot. I think this does go to the scorecards. If not, it could be a crazy KO, and we could be talking about it, a week from now. But moving on to the next fight, a banger in the flyweight division. Two savages, two guys that I love watching. These guys make flyweight entertaining, 100%. These are some of my favorite fighters in this division. Get Brandon Moreno, former Mexican champ, first Mexican champ, versus Taira, who is a young savage. Buddy is 25 years old, about to be 26, and he's already fighting for the number one contender. This is the number one contender fight right here. This has to be. There's no one else that I think could really be in the conversation. Brandon Moreno, he gets his win over what is his name? Amir Albazi. I can't remember his name because this guy's like been super inactive. And then he gets Steve Erceg. And the win over Steve Erceg was kind of very, it was very one-sided. It felt like Brandon Moreno he's just got a lot of questions you got to answer. I mean, he's got some really good boxing. He kind of got that low crouch stance. He also has super high level jiu-jitsu. He can wrestle his ass off, and he's not going to get tired. He does not get tired. But on the other side, you get Taira, the young. This guy is the young version of Brandon Moreno. This guy has some insane wrestling. His last, one of his last wins was Alex Perez. He was on a backpack position on him and fucking blew his knee out. Yeah, but Taira, bro, he's just a dog. His one loss is Brandon Royval, who lost to Joshua Van, who is not fighting for the title. So it's not a horrible loss. And he bounces back, and this was like a first round fucking straight starch of Hyun-Sung Park. Granted, it was short notice. It was a short notice fight. Taira was supposed to fight who was
Erceg, wasn't it?
who was it? No, it wasn't Erceg. I want to say it was Cop. It was Albazi. Yeah, it was Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi pulled out, and that's who they gave him. We gave him Hyun-Sung Park, who now is kind of on the down and down because when we went to Vancouver, we saw him lose to Bruno Silva. So it's not looking like a great loss. Or a great win because of where the trajectory is kind of going for him. But I think this is gonna be a banger fight. I really wish this was 5 rounds. I think this would be a super fun 5-rounder. But a 3-rounder, I think this is a fight where we're gonna see some really high level grappling. This might be another fight where we see it go to the scorecard. Unfortunately, But if it does go to the scorecard, I think Taira can win it, dude. I think Taira is gonna give Moreno a lot of problems. Like he's gonna be able to stuff the jiu-jitsu. He's not gonna let Moreno play off his back. I think he's gonna be able to hold him down, and I think he's gonna just be a problem.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think this fight's gonna be really fun. I think Tyra's gonna get in there and he's gonna set a pace, and Moreno's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, holy shit,
Yeah,
you're fast as fuck."
yeah,
And
yeah.
Moreno is he's most definitely more than proven himself in there.
Mhm.
He's gone through back-to-back wars with Figueiredo.
He had
Has
a
hold
trilogy with Figgy, didn't he? Or was it four
Yeah,
fights? Three.
I think it was
See
just
if I can
three.
find them all. But yeah, keep going. See, one,
Um,
two, three, four. It was
4.
it was four. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Moreno. I like his personality, him as a fighter, and just him as a person. He's a great dude, but I really like Tatsuro Taira. I really like Tatsuro Taira. I feel like he is a most definitely gonna be a champ in the future. I feel like there's a possibility of Tatsuro Taira holding the belt and becoming Japan's first UFC champ. I don't think Japan has had a champion
I don't think
from
so.
Japan.
I will
Or
say I will
did
say
I say that right? I don't know if I said that
for
right,
first
but
Japanese born fighter to be
yeah,
UFC champ.
yeah,
Uh
that's
I will say that, if Tyra wins this and he does get the title shot next, he's gonna be a problem for Pantoja. I think he gives Pantoja a lot of problems to try and figure out because Pantoja's been fighting a lot of strikers. Um,
hmm
and that's not the kind of style you want to bring to a fight with Pantoja. But we'll talk about Pantoja later. But as far as this fight goes, this is number one contender fight. I think Tyra pulls it off, and I think he's next. I'm very happy. Thank you.
I'm very happy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Tatsuro Taira winning that fight.
And moving on to the division that we were just talking about, flyweight division, we got Mr. Alexandre Pantoja versus none other than Joshua Van. This is gonna be a banger fight. First of all, I'm very very invested in this because Joshua Van has grown to be probably top five favorite fighters for me right now. He's just been a brawler and he's just been such an entertaining fighter. You count him out and this dude pulls it back from the fucking depths and gets the win. He's kind of just been just a little savage, bro. He's got great hands, great boxing, um, great counter wrestling, and I think that's going to be a big storyline for this fight. Is how long and how often is he going to be able to keep up with the counter wrestling of Pantoja? Because we know Pantoja is a relentless fighter, and we know he sets an insane pace. He'll come for you in the first, try and get you out of there. And we saw him do it against Kai Asakura. We thought Kai Asakura was gonna go in and beat the brakes off of Pantoja because of just what we've seen from the clips of Kai. But then Kai comes into an octagon instead of a ring, and he looks like he's never even been in a fight. His octagon IQ is just gone. But this fight, I'm excited for it. Joshua Van, his only loss in UFC has been to Charles Johnson, and that's kind of been the recipe. Some of these guys who lose to Charles Johnson come into the come up and are just ranked now, and one of them is fighting for the belt now. And I mean, I really, really, really want to root for Joshua Van, um, and I'm probably gonna put money on him because I like him that much. But I think this is just a tough matchup. I think right now for some of these lighter divisions, you're just getting the goats. You got Pantoja, you got Marab, you got these guys that are going to be very very hard and probably impossible until they retire to clear out of their spot on the throne. And it sucks to say that, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think Pantoja is going to win this one, and I'm going to feel very disappointed about it. But we gotta also think we're witnessing history here. We're witnessing some of the greatest fighters that we've probably ever seen in this division. And Joshua Van is still gonna be one of my favorite fighters. Seeing him fight for the belt is really cool. But I think he's just outmatched here. I think Pantoja just has too many weapons for him.
I'm gonna go with the side of Joshua Van.
Thank you. Someone did
I
it.
think
Thank
I
you,
think Josh I think Van I really fucking do think Van could possibly win this
dude.
here.
I'm
I
hoping
really
so.
do.
I,
Van,
I'm hoping.
if you think about it, Van is very top heavy and he is very good at the anti-wrestling. What I mean by top heavy is he's fucking strong. Van is very strong. He's good at denying takedowns. He's good at pushing fighters who are looking for that single leg, double leg. He's good at finding his underhooks and not getting taken down. Van also, as we've seen, Van has just phenomenal fucking boxing. He has such clean boxing. And Van looks for the opportunities in the shots to land those big heavy shots. If you were to go and rewatch the Royval and Joshua Van fight and look at all the striking, you would say Brandon Royval had more striking than Joshua Van.
Mhm.
But watch the fight. Joshua
Bro, the
Van was
fight.
picking his shots, picking the times to choose when he would land those combinations. Yeah, Joshua Van, he has insane fucking striking. And we've I've seen him, deny takedowns, have a little bit of that anti-wrestling. Um and even try to wrestle himself. I mean, he got rocked in one of his old fights and then went for a takedown. But on another note, I've been a huge fan of Van. I remember watching some of his Fury highlights before he had came into the UFC and then
Mm,
made his debut. And this is where he's at now. Yeah, I've been a huge fan of him. He's fucking 23, 24 years old.
young bull.
Like,
Just turned
yeah,
24, bro.
Va- yeah, just turned 24.
Uh,
Yeah, I think Joshua Van can win this, but but if we got to be real here, if we got to look and face reality, exactly like Joe was saying, we are witnessing one of the greats, one of the goats, one of the dudes who come into the UFC and fucking cement their gloves into the fucking history books. Pantoja is him. He is one of those dudes who is just relentless.
mhm.
Just Pantoja is insane. Pantoja is a dominant champ, and he's one of those champs who are just so well rounded, so well rounded. He has it all. But I will say this though, Pantoja has no power in his hands. He doesn't really have a whole lot of power in his hands. I feel like he doesn't also have a whole lot of output. I feel like if Van could survive some of the grappling of Pantoja, some of the wrestling, in the early round, I think Van could find a possible knockout in the late rounds.
Yes.
I see I see maybe this is just you know obviously citing the side of Van. Pantoja gets gas in the later rounds.
Mm,
That Joshua Van, he's doing good on denying the takedowns. Maybe, for a couple of rounds, Pantoja, out wrestled him, a little bit.
mhm.
But fuck, dude, like I said, Van, he's good at picking his shots.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it just depends on how Van does with the takedowns.
yeah,
If Van could keep this on the feet, and if Van could stay on the feet, I think Joshua Van could get it done.
Hey, I mean Van
And
Van
yeah,
Van called a spot in an interview. He said knockout third round. So hey,
We'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see. But yeah, I got Joshua Van winning this, dude. I got Joshua Van. Like you said, most definitely top 5 favorite fighters
Mhm.
right now. I got Joshua Van and new.
Next fight, we get the UFC 323 main event, our last pay-per-view of the year. Let's talk about it. Are you excited?
Oh yeah,
We're
very
gonna
excited.
close this one out.
Before we get into it though, guys, if you haven't already, leave a like. Let us know how you're feeling. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
And let's get into it, Joe.
yeah. Let's get her going. We get Marab the Machine Dvalishvili versus Piotr Yan. This is the rematch. Last time you guys fought, Marab took it on the scorecards and shot what was like a record 49 takedowns or something. And it was a 3-rounder, wasn't it?
I'm pretty
Pretty
sure.
sure it was a 3-rounder. So it was an insane pace that Marab puts on, but that's what Marab's known for, is being the pressure fighter and being the pace.
It was a 5-rounder.
It was a 5-rounder. Okay. But he dictates how these fights play out all the time. He is the guy that is going to decide how it goes. And if you can't turn Marab away, you're in for a long night, because he's only going to get better as the fight goes on. And as we've seen, he's now finishing folks, and he's now looking like a savage. He choked out Sean O'Malley with that north south choke, and it was a surprise, because going into that, Morale was just the decision machine. Last time out, he absolutely smokes Corey, almost knocked out Corey.
Yeah.
He put a beating on him. It ended up being a 10-8 round for Marab, because Marab is constantly growing and constantly adapting and being the top dog. He's gonna keep being the hunted. He's never gonna be the prey. Um, I think I said that right. Anyway, uh, he's just gonna be top dog for as long as he wants in this division. And I have a hard time seeing anyone coming and taking the belt from him if they can't knock him out. That's the point I want to make here, is if you can't knock him out, you're gonna lose. There's not really any other way to do it. I mean, granted, he did get choked out by Ricky Simone, Washington's own, by the way. That's his last loss, bro. Ever since that, he's just been undeniable. And now he's out here, and he smoked Umar. He beat Sean O'Malley twice. First time was pretty convincing. Second time obviously was more convincing. And then he beats Corey Sandhagen very convincingly. And then yeah, now we get Piotr Yan on a rematch where Piotr Yan couldn't get any offense going, and we're kind of expecting it to play out different. I want to say it does play out different, but I'm not gonna fall into that trap, and I don't want to bet against Marab. I don't want to look silly. So I think Marab wins this, and I think he cements himself as a bantamweight GOAT if he's not already. I think this fight will really set him at the number 1 spot.
Yeah. I love Peter Yan. I love Peter Yan, and I wish he never threw that illegal knee.
The timeline changed.
Because Yan, man, besides this fight, Peter Yan, he is such a clean fighter. He is such a clean striker. His judo takedowns that he does in the middle of the fights, just so clean. Yan is such a badass fighter. But I got fucking Merab Dvalishvili to win this fight. And I want to mention one thing. I was on Twitter the other day, and I saw this video of Merab jump into this pool, and it was like a fucking 30-yard pool. It was hella long. He dives into it, and he swims underwater for the whole time, all the way to the other end. Doesn't even get up for a fucking breath. Just swims all the way across. Merab, dude, he is such a beast. His cardio is insane. He has such a massive gas tank. I feel like in this fight, we might see a couple of clean shots, clean combos, clean exchanges from Yan. But Merab is just going to fucking drown him in the later rounds. If Yan can't get something really going in the early rounds, hurt him, or possibly finish him, Good luck come the championship rounds because Marab is a fucking machine.
Yeah. And if Piotr
I
wins, just know we're getting the rematch. It doesn't even matter. I mean, this plays into the favor of Marab. You know,
mhm,
if Piotr beats him once by finish, guess what? Marab's gonna learn, and he's gonna be better the second time around.
100%. I remember fucking Marab goes 5 rounds and one of the most high level grappling matches I've ever seen with Umar. And then right after that fight, Marab is seen at a fucking club dancing around, jumping
Yeah.
around, taking his shirt off and shit, and fucking shadow boxing the air and fucking shooting takedowns in the air. Yeah, Marab is fucking insane. Marab is a beast. I got Marab. I got Marab winning by decision. But another thing as well is I'm probably not gonna touch this fight. Marab is such a heavy favorite. Such a heavy favorite.
Yeah. I think it really just depends on how they want to price this spread. If it's gonna be 7.5, which I think it will be. I think that's what the regular line's gonna be. It's probably gonna be 7.5. Um, that's gonna be an interesting one. I think Friday we're gonna have a lot of fun spots to look at. I mean, it's a stacked card. We just covered the whole card. It's a stacked card. A lot of good spots to hop on in this one. Hoping some lines stay where they are. There's some underdogs we really like here. Um, but yeah, no, I mean that's it for the picks for this 323 card. It's a crazy card, man. We're gonna have a lot to talk about Friday. I'm really, 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 really hoping nobody drops out of this card. I want this card.
Yeah.
I want this card to stay as is. I don't want to see some short notice shit on the last second for a big pay-per-view. Before we go over to the Paramount.
Trocoli pulls out.
Hey, that's okay. Give Mansour fucking I don't even know who you give him, bro. You just feed him whatever, bro. He needs a
Yeah,
highlight
feed him
knockout.
another random.
Yeah, hella. Um, but yeah, this is a great card. I'm excited to see where this card ranks at the end of the year. I think that's something we can do. On this little 6 week hiatus we get is kind of look at every card throughout the year and kind of just do a ranking. I think we can get a ranking video out.
Oh yeah.
And to just talk about each pay-per-view. I'm not going to talk about every fight night. Fuck. I mean, there's some fight nights I don't even remember. but we'll cover the pay-per-views. We'll kind of rank them. On how we rank them. But yeah, I mean that's all I got for this Tuesday episode. You got anything, Z?
Ah, we appreciate you guys watching our videos and
Yeah,
stay cozy. We'll catch you on the Friday episode.
yeah. We'll see you guys on the Friday episode. Stay tuned. Stay cozy. See you guys.
Stay cozy.
Peace.